they went out and signed themselves Kemba Walker. And I think shout out NBA analyst for this little graphic right here. But Kemba Walker, it's a look. Kemba's not going to come out here and be cardiac Kemba. Kemba's not going to come out here and be what he used to be. That's just not going to happen. If you believe that, you're living in a fairy tale, and I'm sorry to break it to you. But what Kemba will come out and give you is a guy that can do similar things to what Spencer did, what he does for you on offense, facilitate for others, but primarily this guy's a career 36% three-point shooter. In the last few seasons, when he's been suffering through injuries and his play has faltered, he has continued to be a threat from the three-point arc. What is something that this team's needed? Three-point shooting, primarily from the guard position. They had Dinwiddie and Doncic, but they didn't have another guard. Tyler Dorsey's on two-way. They got rid of Campazzo. They signed Walker. So this works out all in all because Kemba Walker, through all the the step he's lost and everything that you might want to come at him for not being a good defender, he's still a good three-point shooter. What is your thoughts on this signing?
Why'd they get rid of Facundo?
He was on a non-guaranteed deal to get signed Kemba. But hopefully that's in those few games and minutes that he played, another team like the Timberwolves or the Portland Trail Blazers or one of the Lakers or the Clippers, the teams that need a backup point guard, could all see that he's still good. Or even like Miami, he would like him.
Yeah. I think Dallas made a mistake there, but I don't have their depth chart pulled up. I mean,
I just think it's money.
What I saw from Facundo when he was with Dallas is exactly what they need, and it's exactly what Jalen Brunson provided them, and that's just playmaking and distribution of the basketball. I don't know if you watched Dallas the last couple of nights, but my take still stands on him. Like, yeah, Luka needs help, right? He needs help. Kemba off of the bench will be awesome. He'll probably give you around 15 points. He's going to be efficient from downtown. He's going to get you probably 3 to 4 assists, and he's a nice guy to have as well. Veteran leader, where if somebody were to get injured or they get sick or whatever, I feel pretty confident with Kemba taking in a role. But I mean, I can't watch Dallas play sometimes, man. Luka doesn't pass the ball, dude. And it's abysmal. And they're never going to win anything, ever. Luka will never win anything unless he changes the way he plays. I'm sick of watching 4 straight possessions where he holds the ball all the way down to the last second, takes up a shot, or passes it to a teammate who hasn't had the ball in several possessions, expecting him to make a shot. So
that's what Kobe Bryant did. Okay, Kobe won championships. He's got 5. He had 5 rings. I forgot that we have to talk about him in past tense. But look, with Doncic's play, he has to do that so they can win games. Who else is going to do it? Who else is going to win them games? I know there's good pieces, but none of them are 20-point scorers on this team. Yes, they're getting 17 from Dinwiddie and Wood, but who else is going to do it? It's that Mamba mentality. And
I get it.
I just think if he had a Jaylen Brown next to him, wouldn't be like this.
Yeah, that's
Anthony Davis,
in the right direction. Yeah.
Chris Middleton,
in the right direction. I don't know. I guess it's a fair point. It's just when I watch this team play, it reminds me so much of James Harden. Like, Luka and James Harden play the exact same style of basketball. When Harden was in his prime, we're watching the same player play. And yeah, they're going to blow up the stat sheet. They're going to get you wins. They're going to get you to the playoffs. They might even win you some playoff series. But when you go up against a team like Boston, you go up against a team like Golden State, like we saw in the semis last year, they're going to just completely game plan and orchestrate around stopping Luka Doncic and making everyone else beat them. And I just don't think Dallas is at that point quite yet. And, hopefully, Luka can rise above it. He's on a better path than James Harden started his career off. So, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if Harden had a couple more years, and like you said, he had Chris Paul that one year, and that's where we were one game away from making it.
He always had an all-star or an all-NBA player next to him. He had Dwight Howard. In the last few years of Dwight Howard's prime, people regret where Dwight was still averaging like 20 and 10 and 2 blocks. Like, Dwight Howard was ridiculous, and they refused to run pick and rolls. He had Chris Paul, he had Russell Westbrook. But no, when you look at Luka, I just think he had old Dirk with a weird team his first season really. only because I think, what was it, 1 year they played together or 2 years? I think it was 1 year only, and it might have been 2. And since then, they had Kristaps Porzingis, who they were hoping Kristaps would develop into the next Dirk Nowitzki, but literally he just did what Dirk Nowitzki was doing at 41 years old. And I'm not saying Kemba is going to be a world. Spencer Dinwiddie and Christian Wood are getting the jobs done, being the secondary and tertiary scorer. And Tim Hardaway is somehow averaging 10 points a game when he was a guy who averaged almost 20 in previous seasons. But he's also coming back from an injury. So they have 4 scores right there. Now you had Kemba, that's 5 scores. That really helps out the thing. Then they got like 3 other guys right there hovering between 7 and 9 points. And it just helps out the scoring hierarchy, pushes some guys down in terms of touches, which needs to be done because that'll help out their efficiency and just the team's efficiency. There's, Finney Smith and Bullock are 2 guys that you're probably saying maybe shooting more than you'd like them to, but I think this is a move that he's not as good. I think Campazzo's a really good facilitator. I think they're equal in facilitating skills due to the fact that like Kemba's like 4 inches taller, but it's really the shooting. They got him for the shooting. There's no defense coming with this, and I think they're hoping Kemba and Tim Hardaway Jr. could be co-6-mans in a sense that Doncic doesn't have to play all these minutes, and you can go in and you can run. Take Doncic and Dinwiddie off the floor, and the offense will still be able to hum because they can put in Tim Hardaway at shooting guard and Kemba at point, and then still run, Christian Wood, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber, Davis Bertans, Dwight Powell, etc. And they'll still be able to shoot and score at a decent clip because right now they're not able to let Dinwiddie and Doncic off the floor at the same time, which, is if you properly do the rotations, you never would have to. But if you want to give them an extra breather in games that, you feel like you should, because even if you have a lead, your offense tends to collapse when those guys come off the floor. And I think Kemba, also Mike Posner, I'm not calling Kemba a scorer. I'm calling him he's a scorer in terms of shooting. You still think he's a scorer?
18 months ago scored 19.3 points a night. Yeah, I'm not putting too much stock in the dysfunctionality of that.
I think he could average 14. I think he could average 14 at best.
I think he'll give me 15. We'll see what the minutes look like, and they'll ease him into it.
The reason why I don't think Kemba is going to be averaging like 20 points a game, he used to get to the free throw line 5 to 6 times a game. Last year, he went twice a game. So basically, you go to the free throw line once. And the year before, he would go 4 free throws a game, which means you probably go like twice, 2 or 3 times. And in previous seasons, he was getting to the line, 3 to 5 times a game. So he's not attacking the basket anymore. That's something that stat tells us right there. Nor has he ever been a good defender. And I think Kemba, he still shoots at a decent clip, but his 2-point percentage was 44% last year, which isn't a career low. He shot worse at 2-pointers, but and his effective field goal percentage was still 50. I just think he's going to come out here and dish 3 to 5 assists a night, give you like 14 points, 11 to 14 points, and just play efficiently. I think he has a chip on his shoulder at this point. He's kind of what they've needed, shooting.
Yeah, he's good for him.
So let me just read what they wrote right here. Mark Stein. The Dallas Mavericks are nearing a deal to sign Kemba Walker. He's been a free agent since the end of the preseason, as Walker has not played this year due to the fact that he was traded from the Knicks to the Detroit Pistons in a salary capping move this summer. Walker was then waived right before the start of the season by the Detroit Pistons, without the Pistons requiring him to report at all to training camp. Last year, he averaged in 37 games for the Knicks, 11.7 points and 3.5 assists. And Dallas had to make a move to sign Walker, which led to them waiving Facundo Campazzo. And an 11-year veteran, Kemba Walker, had previously mentioned and stated that he had several NBA offers since being waived in Detroit, but he's waiting for the right opportunity that he feels great physically and is kept in great shape while waiting for an opportunity. Now
Yeah,
let's
he's good
move on.
for. Yeah, it's
What?
also I think he only averaged like 25 minutes a night, lowest since rookie season.
Oh yeah.
About it.
I just don't want you. I'm not going to sit here and be like Kemba Walker's going to be a 20-point scorer, but I don't
No.
think he's going to shit the bed. I think he's going to come in and hit 3-point shots and pass the ball, which is the reason why they brought him in. Now I'll give you a choice: Alperen Şengün, Lakers, Celtics, Trae Young, or Ben Simmons.
Well, Şengün and I feel like Trae Young kind of fit in the same. Just rocket talk.
We'll do Rock.